All right. Man, why am I looking so pale? Oh my. Oh, I got a tan out here. So, thank you all for joining today. Thank you all for your patience with the delays. Sometimes these chats cause me a lot of stress, and then I get to really learn and practice relaxation, you know, patience with myself. It's challenging for me. All right, let me see where the best spot for this is. And I have some really cute and exciting, hold on. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So this is how this is set up. Here, I made this cute little, let me just set this up and then I can get in to the chat and everything and see how y'all are doing. Okay. And you know I'm having a rotten day if I'm wearing the small glasses. That'll make my eyes look small. All right. Let me just get in here and have a look where we're at. Okay, we can turn that timer off. All right. Hey, Miriam. Hey, Angie. Hey, Ruled by Venus. Hey, Ding Dong. How are you all doing? Good to see you. Yay, everyone made it. Okay. So the stream should have changed by now. Let's see if it looks like it's changing. Okay. Oh no, it's not getting the new stream. Okay, hold on. It should be. It should be. It seems y'all. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me pull this up on my phone. Hello. Whoa. All right, let me check. How to be delivered? Oh, it's working. Okay. Oh my word. All right. So let's get going with the presentation. How have and here's the thing. You know what? Some of you who know me, who've been with my channel for a while, you know that I'm not really a Christmas or a New Year's kind of girl. All right? I don't like the energy of us coming in and being like, it's a new year, we're gonna break a leg, we're gonna do this differently, we're gonna do that differently, whatever. It causes a lot of stress. And that's fine if the men want to be doing that for themselves, right? That's fine. But for us, ladies, we have bodies that run on cycles. We need rest often. We're more intuitive biologically, we were made to nurture, to protect children, and to make sure we maintained our own health and our own spirit. We're meant to be protectors, guardians, and builders of energy and spiritual energy, right? Not out here crushing it, killing it, hustling. But yeah, we look at what modern society has done, what capitalism has done to get everybody out of the house, to get all the families broken up, to make more tax dollars. And this is where we find ourselves. So if you are wanting to start speaking about your story, to find something that works for you, to be able to make sales and connect with people and change lives all around the world, I think some of you know, in my opinion, sharing your story is one of the best ways to do that, especially now that we have access to the internet, right? Okay. So I'm going to make sure I'm in the right spot. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so it's still good. What time are we at? Okay, 6:24. All right. Might be a record. Okay. So can someone let me know in the chat if you can hear me? Let me have a look here. So I have the volume on my computer turned all the way off. Let me just check. Oh yeah, the sound is good. Excellent. Okay. Now I made, thank you, Miriam. And yeah, you guys, I'm over this past year as well. You know, I know some people where it's like the past couple of years have been the best of their lives. For me, when I first came to Mexico, that was like one of the best years of my life. But the second year, this is the end of my second year in Mexico. This was definitely one of the most difficult years of my life. And I mean, come on, like I'm living in a new country. You know, I went through that ridiculous divorce, and it's like so many things at once. And now I am ready for, thanks, Angie. I am ready for continuing on with my story and my life. And I don't like to sit there and think, oh, it's a new year. It's time to do something different. I like to think of myself as a continually evolving being, right? Because when I think in these terms, it's very easy to be like, to kind of feel like it's all or nothing, or, oh, I fell off. It's like, no, you didn't fall off. You're constantly growing, right? When you are healing, when you are changing, sometimes it might look like this. All right, so you're going up, okay? You're going up and down, and you're going way up sometimes, right? And then all of a sudden, you may have a huge fall, right? Maybe that was 2023 or something. And so you're like, wow, I'm back at the beginning. This is so difficult. I have a long way to climb. No, you don't. Because look where you actually started, down here. You're already ahead. As long as you're learning and you're making changes, even if you make mistakes in those changes, ultimately, we're still going up. We're still trending up, even when we have a huge, big downfall, and we can keep going. And then we'll have another one, probably. Kind of like that video of the dude with the staircase. You guys remember that? Did anyone see that video of the music, the man jumping on and off the staircase and climbing up and falling back down and getting all the way up and then falling off? It was really a beautiful piece. It was some kind of like art installation, live art. I'm not sure how you describe it. All right, so let's continue on. And I also, of course, want to let you all know that, okay, let's wait till we get halfway. Let's get into the presentation. Okay. Hold on. I can only do so many things at once. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen when I get old, yeah. Like, okay. Next slide. So this is what we're talking about today. Here's the overview. Here's kind of what we're going to go through. So the first part, the alchemy of my life, what sharing my story has done for me, okay? Then what it could do for you. Next, saying no to hustle culture, nervous system support. What is karma and what is dharma? Next, what are the consequences of meeting or not meeting those aspects of your life? Then we'll have a Q&A in the chat. And next, you get bonus readings from my books. How is this possible, guys? Did I put out my audiobook this year or was it the year before? See, it's all kind of, oh no, it was my first year. Okay, so I put out a book or a product each year that I've been in Mexico. So my very first product was, I Thought It Was White. It's an audiobook. I'm going to be playing you a chapter from that. And then the one I put out this year, At Midnight in Mexico. I changed the subtitle. Now it is Sex, Scams, Landlords, and Making Money. Crucial Dark Lessons I Learned as a Female Solo Traveler Living in Mexico. Y'all. So this is part of what we're working on today. I want you to think about and remember these words. Whenever anything difficult or challenging or over the top happens in your life, think of my face. Think of these books. These books I'll show you that I've written in my life. And remember these words. I will profit from this. Yes, that's what we're going for. I will profit from this. When my landlord was messing with me in Mexico and causing me a great deal of emotional stress and bringing up all my childhood trauma, all I kept coming back to was, I will profit from this. And what did she want from me? $300. I've made over 10 times that amount from this book, telling my story of what my rotten landlord tried to do to me. And she was actually, I'm not going to say she was a decent person. She seemed a certain way. But I always kind of had a bad feeling about her, even from the beginning. So, all right. Oh, thanks, Miriam. I was just going to go type that in the chat. But again, for some reason, I don't know what's up with YouTube. Why? It won't let. Okay. Yeah, here we go. I will profit from this. Yeah. Let's type this in the chat so everyone can remember it. I will profit from this. Let's hit the hearts. Let's hit the likes. All right. The fall was real, Chica. Tell me about it. Even like 2 days ago, I had my first like major like issue living in a house here. I mean, other than the massive ass earthquake. Yeah, I could. Oh, why not? I'll just tell you guys about it real quick. I left the tap running in the kitchen. And like, I've been living on my own since I was 16. Okay? I'm like a super responsible person. I don't mess up like that, you know? I just really don't. And my neighbors were making a lot of noise. Were they even? Because they've all been gone, actually. That's like my default excuse in my mind, that I was like stressing out for my neighbors. But the greatest Christmas gift, I got the best gift for Christmas this year, you guys. I looked out in the parking lot like a few days before Christmas, and all of my neighbors were gone. And they stayed gone. It's amazing. This is the best gift I could ever have been given. Oh, yes, thank you. So anyway, I had the oven fan on to make noise, like white noise for me in the background. So I couldn't hear anything. And then I went in my office and I closed the door and I was like listening to music and singing. I was like supposed to be working on stuff, but I got carried away. I had had a really good workout earlier, so I was like kind of tired. And then so then after I leave, after maybe like 40 minutes, I step out and it's like flooded. Now, thank goodness all this is like linoleum. It's popular not to have carpets here. But I was just like, what more? Like, just, it was pretty crazy. And so then, and this was late too. This must have been like 1 a.m. So I was like, should I call someone? Should I ask for help? What should I do? And I'm like, let me just do this bucket by bucket. It's kind of like the Buddhist parable Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So what did I do all night? I carried water. By the way, guys, my hair is growing so long. It's going so long now. It is I stopped relaxing it. So anyway, I got it all sorted out. I was really tired and exhausted. But yeah, it worked itself out and there was no damage. Okay. So let's continue on. Okay. Let me hit up that. And by the way, I'm practicing this here now because I want to do more lives in the future. I will profit from my mistakes on YouTube with streaming. Even after this, I'm going to write like the biggest, most frustrating mistakes about going live on YouTube that will make you want to like, you know, right. I'm gonna write that. Okay. So now I've offered what I am going to give you on this presentation. Here are the ground rules. Here's what I expect from you. And if you like these and you agree to it, please continue to participate. So the first one is participation. I'm live and not making just a video because there's an opportunity for us to interact, for you to interact with each other in the comments, for us to build each other up, to share our experiences. I was going to say our experiences, our strength, and our hope. How do you know I'm a 12-step girly? So yeah. And yeah, please remember to hit like, remember to leave comments, remember to like do whatever, share whatever's like, you know, coming up for you. Oh, it reminds me of this, reminds me of that. Add value, practice adding value, right? I have a lot of people who I see who hit every single story that I have on Facebook or Instagram, but they never comment, they never like, nothing. But then I'll see like on Facebook, it's like this person liked this, and then they liked this post and that post, and it's like these silly little memes on some page that has like millions of views and stuff, right? So people often forget, you know, that we need to support creators, not just the most popular type things. Do you know what I mean? Um, that being said, the support that I receive from people, you know, who followed my work for a while is just outstanding to me. It's unbelievable, and I appreciate it so much. There have been times this year, as I mentioned, was this the most difficult year of my life? Possibly. Yeah, I should have been prepared for that. The one of the best years of my life, followed by the most difficult. I should have been prepared for that. But there were times when I would just be like, oh my God, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. And I would get on like YouTube or something to like go fix something, whatever. And there'd be a comment from someone like, hey, this really affected me. This really helped me. I'm so grateful, or something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess I need to keep going. But the truth is, yeah, you know, anyway, it's part of my my dharma to be doing this kind of work, really. Okay, and respectful. So people, you know, I don't know about you guys, but you know, with my divorce and, you know, moving to a new country and thinking back over my whole life, I'm just realizing that many, many times I gave myself away, or I allowed people into my boundaries who shouldn't have been there, right? And we can think of our boundaries with people as a house. Okay, so we keep some people on the porch. We invite some people into the living room. We invite some people into the dining room and the kitchen and the bedroom. Other people, they don't make it off the porch. Other people, they are not even allowed to step on the lawn, right? So we have to decide who those people are. Now, for me, that's anybody who comes at me, obviously, with like anything rude, who's being rude, and I don't typically have these kind of problems. What I do tend to have are people who come at me with anxiety, like, oh my God, what do you mean by this? Or, you know, that wait energy, that wait, what did you say? Blah blah blah. How about this? What's the details? Give me the. I'm like, no, no. If you exist in the world, but the wait, what did she say? What's the detail? Energy is entrepreneurship is not going to work for you. You can think that in your mind and go, wait, what did she say? Oh, let me write it down. and find a solution, or go into Google, right? So if you want to ask a question, calm yourself down, ask it, go ahead, right? But just be mindful where it's coming from. Just yesterday, I was doing some scrolling on my Instagram. I'm trying to like cut down on the accounts that I follow, and I saw this girl, this beautiful girl, and she had this outfit, and she just like ruined it, in my opinion. She was like this gorgeous outfit, and I'm like, oh, it's so nice. It was like this like spaghetti strap bustier with these like silver pants, and I was like, oh, gorgeous. And then she goes and puts on this huge menswear blazer that's also silver and like covered up that beautiful delicate bustier, and I was like, oh, I was so disappointed. I was gonna go and leave a comment, but then I thought, it's not my job to police how she is in this world, you know? And then I was like, And then I went and looked at some of her other posts, and I was like, oh, I actually don't like her fashion. And not only that, I'm like, I am not a fashionista to be giving her advice anyway. So what did I do? I just hit unfollow. It's just not a vibe. It's not a match. So that was it. And I was like, wow, this is what I've been trying to tell people to do all this time. So yeah, I'm quick with the block button these days. I'm going to have to change my social media strategy going forward. And when I do that, I'm going to have even more energy to give to the people and the projects that really light me up in life, are helping me fulfill my Dharma and helping other people in the world. All right. Okay. Next, tend to try to ask yourself beneficial questions when you come across something that you don't understand. So instead of saying something like, oh, I could never do this, or if you have like a negative thought or a negative thing, like, oh, I could never have, I don't know, $1,000 a month from the internet, watch out for that and change it into a question. How could I make $1,000 a month from the internet? I wonder what it might be like to make $1,000 from the internet, right? Anything in our lives where we're having this negativity, we need to invite curiosity. So that's the next thing I want to put here. Observe your brain during this broadcast. Observe what's happening for you. Observe the thoughts. Take something away to learn about yourself. And I have a picture of some neurons here. So, and this is something that, I've really been interested in for myself as well. When you have a repeated negative reaction to something, essentially, when you break it down, all it means is that your brain has a really strong pathway for hitting this negative result. And so it's like the easiest path in the woods that your brain's like negative, negative, negative. So when it happens, you can make a conscious decision to be like, no, I'm going to reinforce this other path. So instead of going for the easy path in the woods, take the road less traveled, right? We think, oh, I don't want to go down that path because I know where it leads. So this looks like there's some branches, there's some brambles, but I can see a sparkling waterfall in the distance. So I know the more I walk this path over, I will have a pathway in my brain that leads to something beautiful that's way more appealing than this rotten old pathway. And that's how we do it. And I've been really, really good at this as far as self-talk. I've just been so amazed at the progress I made. Of course, I use self-hypnosis to assist me with it. But yeah, we can really make a lot of progress in this area with a bit of mindfulness in that way. Okay, next. So here are my audiobooks. So this one is an audiobook. I thought I was white. A funny, shocking, inspiring, and true book for humans ready to be free from race and live well while the haters stay mad. You guys know I love to mess with my subtitles. So that one you get to listen to, and I'll be letting you listen to a free chapter at the end of this broadcast. Next, we have At Midnight in Mexico. This was about my worst experiences in Mexico. And then we have the one that started it all, How to Make Money on YouTube, Get More Views, Get More Subscribers, and Get Paid. This is the book that changed my life. And next we have Recollections, A Journey Through Therapy and Recovery. This was published on Amazon. This was kind of like a more meaningful book. Now, what can we notice about all of these things? Well, first of all, the, they all take some kind of negative experience and they're offering my personal take and solutions, right? So, this one about racism, this is like a big problem that people have, you know, especially these days. We got people all crammed in, living together, right? Quote unquote racism. And so this has been my experience. This is the thing that people were the most curious about me about for a very long time. They were searching, what's Adelle Ramcharan's race? What, blah, blah, blah. Um, at midnight in Mexico, yeah, I took all of my worst experiences here, turned them into learning, and made it shareable for other people to learn from my mistakes. I thought I was street smart. I thought I was savvy. I thought I had good common sense, you know, but still I got like busted like a couple of times here. So I want to prevent that from happening to anyone else. And make money on YouTube. Again, I thought that, as you guys know, some of you know me from that original video that has like over 3 million views, right? I used to think that you had to have lots and lots of views, lots and lots of everything in order to make money. That's not true. So I really now am encouraging people to pursue micro influence status, right? Because that's actually what I've had this whole time. Micro influencer is someone who has less than 100,000 subscribers. I know I'm like 9 or 10,000 away from that, but that's what it is. And people don't realize you can make a full living, a full-time, sustainable, abundant living from having just a small amount of subscribers. And without having to stress yourself out, without having to stretch your imagination too far, right? You go to these make money seminars and they get you to stand up and speak your truth, and you're like, I will make $100,000 a month. And then everyone cheers you on, but like inside your head, you're kind of like, right? So sometimes we have to take baby steps before we get there. Let's make 10,000 before we're worried about 100,000. Do you see what I mean? Let's make 1,000 before we're worried about 10,000. Let's titrate this, accept it, like to accept this into our reality. Let's titrate it. Let's take it in small doses. All right. And so, yeah, my story, as you can see, there's a picture of me in the middle. You know, I was like between 2, 3 years old here. And during that time, it was, you know, it was pretty terrible. My mother was, you know, overwhelmed, stressful, stressed, abusive, neglectful. I was often left, you know, in a room all day by myself. Or with the neighbors who were like old people who watched TV really loudly, and that was it, you know. And to this day, loud TV in another room like really still triggers me. And there's me, and some of you asking like why my shoulders are looking so skinny and bony. Like, I've had skinny and bony shoulders and arms since I was 9 years old. So, you know, that's just how it goes. Yeah, you can see here's a video I was going to make, you know, from like my divorce and finding my father. And I went through a lot the past couple of years. And I have been doing and selling my story, my products online for the past, I guess, about 12 years now. Before that, I was writing and posting on the internet under pseudonyms, and my stuff would get really, really popular. Even now, I still post some of my crazy controversial stories on Reddit, and they will go viral on Reddit. One time, one of them got picked up by the news, like national news. And so they're like, a user on Reddit has been talking about blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my God. Then I heard that Reddit is offering money for posts. That was like a thing. And I was like, oh, why didn't that happen back then? Anyway, so yeah, let's see. So telling your story, freeing your voice. You know, when I was this little 2-year-old in the room by myself, I didn't have anyone to talk to, let alone to, share about what I was going through. And then as I got older, in my family, it was like many of you, oh, don't air your dirty laundry. Oh, you know, and that's the whole idea, right? Oh, we get to do whatever we want to you, but just don't tell anybody, right? And I don't play that game. And I think that's one thing we really have to do in order to help each other as brothers and sisters on this planet is to share our truths, share our stories, so that we can help each other, right? I had to learn so many things the hard way when I was growing up, like especially about dating and relationships. Like even now I'm 41 and I feel like I've finally kind of got a grip on it. That's how long it took. Even like not even including um the past like year and a half, like yeah, like the past 2 years, right? When I was like dating when I first came here and I met that crazy dude that I wrote about in here. And then like my marriage, oh my God. Wow, I had a lot to unpack there. So for me, I am going to share everything I figure out. And you guys know that I will share bad things about myself. It's not like I'm out here like, who can I talk trash about? Like, no, I'm like, I'll share good things about myself. I will share bad things about myself. I'm not having children in this life. And my stories, my life, my value, is in passing this off to anyone who can be benefited by it. Yeah. And the great thing about that, especially now in the age of the internet, is when we do this, we can profit from it. And here's the thing. Okay, so, all right. We have karma and we have dharma. This is from, Eastern philosophy, Eastern philosophy. But if you're from, like that's not your thing, we also think of this as fate versus destiny in the West. And here we have, I put at the feet of God, the feet of God. I was probably in my late 20s when I realized that my name means at the feet of God in Sanskrit, my last name. So it's essentially a person who's pursuing a spiritual life. And I'm like, dang, that's weird how it kind of worked out. And then I started meeting some Indian people like randomly, and I would tell them stuff about my life, and they would tell me about Dharma, and I'm like, damn, you know? Um, and so if we look here, fate versus destiny, fate is what you are given since you were born, and destiny is what you do with what you are given, right? So some people, they're born into, for example, like I could talk about my mother. Let's just switch this example. So let's say somebody could be born into poverty, into trauma and abuse. They grow up to continue that cycle. They have children who they enact that cycle onto, and then they, struggle their whole life and then they die, right? That was their fate. That was what they were born into, and that was what happened. Destiny is when something comes along that kind of reaches out to you or grabs your attention, and you're like, there's something here for me, and you go towards it and you take action, and then you start finding that your life gets better. And that's the thing about Dharma. This concept is that everyone is here to do something, to fulfill something. And if you are not living in or working on your Dharma, you will have a miserable life, or you will be frustrated or anxious, or you will have anxiety, or you'll be depressed. And I have to tell you, like, the feeling that I get from finishing a book, writing a book, getting sales online, like selling and making money on the internet is my love language. Okay? It is. And so the feeling that I get from these things, I remember like being so happy that I'd make like PayPal sales of my products. And then one day I just randomly noticed that there were notes. Like when people buy off you through PayPal, they can leave a note. And I had tons of notes that I hadn't even read yet. So people would be buying from me and they would be leaving me a note saying, thank you so much for this. And I was like blown away. Here they are thanking me that they can buy something from me, right? That's Dharma. That's changing the way you think about sales, about making money, about selling things, right? A lot of people have a lot of shame and guilt around those things. If you have a story that can help somebody and you're not selling it, right? And you sell it to them, you have done a good thing, right? And we also offer, of course, our stories for free, right? On the internet. And that's going to be something that I'll be teaching in the future, how to sell your story. So yeah. We have here the video game of life and cheat codes. This is quite funny. Let me have a look here. So many people just think about, they don't think about life. They're like Johann Goethe's sleepwalkers, right? Men are not evildoers, but sleepwalkers. Most people just sleepwalk through their life. Have you ever stopped and just like let go of everything that you know and just think about it? It's like you woke up in this reality in a spacesuit that allows you to interact with it, that is going to explode at some point, and you don't know when that will be. Come on, that's weird. And it's like, and you don't really know what you're doing here, right? It's almost like a video game. Imagine you just turn on a video game and there you are in space. Well, what are you going to do? Do you look at what all the other characters are doing and do it? Not really. You're like, I'm the main character in this game. There's got to be something here for me. And so you start going out and you try to find what it is. And so you look for the things that are interesting. You look for the things that come to you, something interesting in your life, and you go towards it, right? Unless you want to just follow your karma. And that's just taking what's in front of you and accepting it. You want to find your destiny. The destiny is something that calls you to be something beyond yourself, right? Something greater than you would have been otherwise, right? Most people don't reach for that. And I put here cheat codes. This is quite funny. I remember, so this would have been in the 90s. My little brother was obsessed with video and computer games. And I remember him going to my mom like, I'm gonna need some money to buy these cheat codes. And we're like, what? So there were people who would go and they would play the game ahead of you. And the really, really difficult parts of the game, they would figure it out. And they would figure out some codes that you could use to skip through the difficult parts of the game that were like, you know, would destroy you or deplete your resources or kill some people in this game. And they would sell them. So this was like a really popular thing like in the 90s. And that's kind of what we're doing now, right? If you want to, like, for example, if you want to come to Mexico and take some friggin' years off your life and get some gray and silver hairs and lose a lot of money going through everything I went through that first year, go right ahead. Otherwise, you can just go and grab my digital book and learn what I went through so that you have a cheat code for what to avoid. Stuff like that. So think about your life. You have got some cheat codes that you have, or some knowledge that you have learned over the course of your life. Let's talk a bit more about that. This is something that really struck me. Prince and Mary J. Blige, this was her Dharma and his as well. Because the thing about Dharma is if you do not activate yours, you know, you will suffer more and more. And if you activate it, you activate others around you. So whether it's your children, your relatives, your neighbor, a stranger across the internet, I've gotten, you know, messages from people saying like, your YouTube ebook has just changed the generations of my family. And I'm like, what? You know? And you might be like, well, there's like lots of information out there, but it's like, you know, sometimes there's something about you that is relatable to other people that makes them think, hey, oh, okay. Yeah, coming from her, I believe it. Or, oh, like if she did that, I can do it too, right? All right. And I want to talk about this story because Mary J. Blige said that she kind of wanted to be a singer and she knew she should do it, but she just didn't like, just something was just not fully there. And one day she went to a Prince concert and there's a certain song he played and something went inside of her. It activated this song that she listened to live, activated her Dharma inside her, and she knew she had to be a singer. And then look, she ended up on stage with him. To be honest, I don't really know much of either of their music. I like Prince because of I like his interviews and his shade that he would give people. But I also love the Dave Chappelle stories about him. Like those were hysterical. So yeah, get through life in this way, this magical way. And that's kind of what I've done. You know, I've had many, many, many difficulties in my life. But it's also been really magical, and I've had many just crazy opportunities of totally beautiful things, unexpected things. All right, so this is kind of like, um, and so, okay, wait, let's go back. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read through this, and then I'm going to give you, as I said, I put 3 gentle tips, right? So we want to, how can we start thinking about ourselves as creators in a way that we can profit from and we can find a purpose in our lives and feel that real sense of fulfillment? I've got 3 gentle tips to get started, right? You know, the boss babes and the hustle people are going to tell you like you need to start this and start that and make a schedule and every single day you need to upload and blah blah blah. Oh my God, if you're like a person like me, that's going to make you not do it, right? So we need to approach this from a gentle way. We need to work up to making larger and larger amounts of money so we can accept this reality while still being kind to our nervous system, right? Because many of us are burnt out, right? Especially in life after the past like couple of years. Um, it's been pretty crazy and just in the world. And, you know, I'm so grateful that we're able to meet here, you know, that if you're watching this now, you know, we're safe, we're comfortable, we have these things and we're able to make a difference in life. Like I'm so grateful for that and grateful for you with all of the crazy things going on in the world today, you know. It's a lot. It's a lot, right? Okay. All right. Let me have a look here. Okay, so yeah, we have this quote from the Bible, where there is no vision, the people perish, right? You need to have a vision for your life. Start thinking about that. If I were to create products, or if I were to talk about something, what would people expect from me? What would I like to talk about? What would I like to be known for? And I want you to think about this. Even if you're one step ahead of someone, you have something valuable to offer them, right? Like even, you know, here I am on my live broadcast, like somebody who's was able to start their broadcast on time and who like didn't have the problems that these little annoying problems that I still have. They're like one step ahead of me. They could sell me something to help me. And also, don't worry about these influencers who come out here and they're like, yeah, you know, these amazing wild stories of what happened for them. You know, I have some stories like that. Um, I share them because they were just so shocking and surprising to me. And at this point in my life, I think it's just ridiculously easy to make money on the internet. It's like a joke. But keep it real with yourself. If that overwhelms you or if like that feels, you know, over the top for you, just compete with yourself from last year or from yesterday. If I remember talking to a room full of people that had come to like an internet marketing event that I had on about YouTube, And there was maybe like 40 of them. This was in Calgary. And I was like, how many of you have made $500 off the internet? Just put your hand up. Like, nobody. And I was like, okay, $100. No hands went up. And I was like, and then it struck me like, this is not a very common thing, even among entrepreneurial and businessy type people. So if you've made no money on the internet, but you make $20, this is extremely impressive. Like, I'm trying to remember the first money I made off the internet. It was probably in like high school. Yeah, that I made money off of something that was totally online. That was like secret shopping. But when was the first time I sold a product on the internet and got PayPal from it? That would have been, I can't even remember, maybe 15 years ago. Maybe 15 years ago. I can't remember, but get that feeling for yourself. Once you get the taste of that, kind of like my cat when he found out that butter was delicious and then he just couldn't stop, right? Then it may bring out your creativity, right? And a video can change your life overnight. These are the times that we're living in. So even if you just like, I love finding like new creators on YouTube who are just like random people who are starting to go viral. I've seen that so many times, especially lately. Just like some like, college girl, I found her videos yesterday. She just turned a video on and she was like kind of crying and talking about how her life was changing and she's gonna miss her friends and she has to move and stuff like that. And like the video was like starting to go viral. And then she started making all these other videos on her channel and I'm like, oh my God, like I was like really impressed. All right, let me just hold on. Let me just pop in the chat. Oh, let me just check. Okay, good. Excellent. So yeah, share your story. And I'm going to share with you a way to do it even if you are feeling kind of overwhelmed or you're like nervous about it and stuff like that. Okay. Hello to Apollo 2200. All right. Glad everyone's okay. Hold up. And let me see what's next in my presentation. Is that the last slide? Oh, it is. All right. So here, let's go back and let's set it on. Let's set it on this page. Okay. So here are some 3 things you can do to start taking some gentle steps towards selling your story in life. So the first one is I want you to think about what have been the biggest problems in your life. I know. And if you don't want to do that, you can also think, what are some outstanding skills or accomplishments that I've done, right? Graduating from nursing school, passing the bar exam, or even some other things like getting your newborn to sleep when they won't stop crying, how to make, 10-minute lunch boxes for your children. That's an accomplishment, right? Whatever you can think of, whether it's big or small, what are your skills? What are some crazy, interesting things about you that people maybe don't know? And so the second thing is after you've kind of listed those out, sorry, go through your problems, the problems that you wrote, and kind of check off which ones you feel you have solutions to and which ones you're still working on, and just kind of see what comes up for you. So for me, I feel like I have solutions to this like relationship game, romantic relationship game. Like I'm like, okay, I finally got it now. I got it. I get what I did wrong. I get my mistakes and I'm not going to make them again. I get it. So, and then solutions that I'm still trying to come up with, binge eating. I love exercising, thank God. That's why, I can still maintain some aspects of my health, but like the binge eating, that's still a problem for me. So I'm like, let me find a solution. And then when I find that solution, let me share it. I still keep meaning to make a self-hypnosis track for that, and I haven't done it yet. So that might be the key. We'll see. Okay. So after you've done those things, I want you to consider making a catch-all YouTube channel. So this is something you can create even if you like don't have skills, you you know, you're like worried, oh, my family will see it or people will think it's not that good or whatever it is. Start practicing the habit of being a creator, of sharing your opinions, sharing your value. Whatever random thing that you can teach somebody how to do, make videos and teach. Make videos and talk. Make videos and give your opinion. And if you want, you can make them anonymous. Yeah, you can make it an anonymous channel. Just practice and mess around with it. That's actually what I ended up doing with my second channel, my ASMR channel. And then what you can kind of do after you've just been expressing yourself for a while, yes, that's my cat. I don't know how those of you who have children survive because even the cat meowing gets under my nerves. I'm like, what have I not done? Like, I'm trying. So, yeah, when you create this catch-all channel, she probably misses me. She probably wants to play, is what it is. Yeah. You can yeah, then look back on what you talked about and see what comes up repeatedly. So if you look on my second channel that I've been uploading to just like for fun over the past year, you can see repeatedly, I have messages for women and sharing my story on how to avoid getting your life force energy and your path in life from God sucked away, sidetracked, and taken by low quality men. And for me, that's like such an important thing. Think about it. What could you talk about all day? And also making money online, right? I posted on my Instagram the other day, I'll get all my neighbors on YouTube. There's this woman at the Walmart who I've always been chit-chatting with. She's so cute. And we have this little conversation in my broken Spanish. And I finally got her to just make a video that day. that night. So we're making a video together and like it was just so cute and funny. If you search for meeting Adelle Ramcharan in Mexico, it will come up and you can see it. It was just so cute. It's so funny. All right. Maurice. Can you guys hear it? It's Maurice. She's going through it, y'all. I don't know. Maybe it's a full moon or something. Okay. So I am now going to, yeah, let me read a bit from At Midnight in Mexico. So this book, oh, and by the way, all of my books will be 20% off for the next 48 hours. End of year sale. Just use the code 2024. And the link is in the description. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on a shirt. I will profit from this. I'm gonna profit from the idea of I will profit from this. Come on. Why? Because, like we need to support ourselves in life. We need to have the experiences that we need to propel us to the next level, right? To advance ourselves and raise the vibration of humanity and everything else, right? Why is it saying it's finished? All right. Oh, I really want to And I've said this every time, but I really want to get this live streaming thing down because the amount of stress it causes me to try to make this stuff work, it's insane. Okay, so at midnight in Mexico, here it is. It has been made so that you can easily, if you want, print it out. If you're like me, you old school, you want something to flip through, you can just go to an Office Depot or something like that, and they can make it into a book like this for you, usually under $2. Or you can print it and staple it together, your choice. And so yeah, well, this book was so much fun. So we have the table of contents: scams, landlords, sex, and money. Here are the titles, the subtitles of the chapters. So under scams, I have the scariest moment of my life, back of a taxi leaving Guadalajara Airport. The 3 a.m. phone call, I'm in the parking lot at immigration. They said you have to be here in 20 minutes, bring the money. What would you do if you got a phone call like that? The day all my bank cards disappeared from my apartment, I paid a high price for my enthusiasm. The well-off, smiling, middle-aged couple scam, they got me twice. You will need to, but also cannot trust other expats. I learned the hard way. Landlords, the harrowing story of how my neighbor saved me from my scamming landlord without getting whacked by the cartel. The next one, the Mexican way to deal with psychotic landlords, one of the greatest victories of my life. People need to know it's a bad idea to mess with me. I have got karmic look. I've got some kind of weird ass protection that I've had my whole life, that I've felt around me, that I just finally noticed. I'm like, every time someone tries to mess with me, bad things happen to them very quickly. I have nothing to do with it. So I'm like, my poor landlord, she didn't know that. She saw me and she's like, oh, there's that little Canadian girl who has no friends. She was wrong about that. How to easily bargain your rent price and save thousands. Signs and warnings to look out for when renting. Sex. How I almost fell prey to a well-educated, smooth-talking, super hot romance scammer. And then I put Maurice. Are you gonna come here for this? Smithy, you want to come to the camera? You acting crazy. Oh my god. How I set myself up to be sexually assaulted for the first time. Surprising 2 words that got a catcaller to apologize, see me as a person and stop. Sex and dating as a foreigner in this country. I thought I'd seen everything, but I was shocked. And the last one, money. Taboo ways real people are earning money online here. Findoms, foot pics, and phone sex. Oh my. Emergency online jobs that almost anyone can get and start right away. I tried it and it works. $50 an hour, black market ESL lessons in China. Okay, so, and the bonus chapter, death. All right. Which one should I read? I'm going to read a little bit of one of these first. Let me head to the chat. Make sure this is like I am hoping all is well. I have the same protection. Excellent. I love to hear it. I don't know, I only started realizing it like when I was in college. There were these like girls that just like hated me for like no reason. They tried lying to people about me and everything. And like even one of the teachers was like, these girls are going and telling people that you like physically beat them up. And I'm like, do you believe that? He's like, no, you should go talk to the dean. I'm like, okay, thanks. It was outrageous. And then things did not go well for these girls. The tables got completely turned on them, and they were the ones who were getting prosecuted. I didn't have any, and it was not related to me as well. People started finding out who they were. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay. Oh man, there's so much. So the first part of scams, like the beginning of the book, talks about my divorce. Because I know like a lot of people were like watching and I was sharing on Instagram and even on YouTube those farming videos and stuff. Like I wanted to be married. I wanted to be a farmer. I just didn't want to be treated poorly. So I had to exit myself from that situation. And then, coming here and starting over, I had to really start thinking about, can I rely on the concept of joining a family or getting married or finding a man for my future? It's a very bad idea. Um, so I have a video coming up that I already filmed. I'm just finishing editing it, about me getting land and bringing other people together for a farming situation. What are you eating, Maurice? Oh, Lord help me. Okay. All right. Let's just read the introduction, how it all started. I chose Mexico because it was one of 4 countries still open during the pandemic and for its low cost of living and hot weather year-round. Never in my wildest dreams. Oh, I forgot the Q&A. If anyone has any questions, please go ahead, put them in the chat. And go ahead and use code 2024. Oh, it's all caps. To get 20%. Like, you guys see the way I do things? The way that, like, it's a little bit clumsy at times. Even someone like me can still be successful full-time on the internet, right? I hope that gives you some kind of like reassurance. Get 20% off my digital books or audiobook. Link in video description. I think I'm going to put the actual link, which is e-junkie/Adelle. And that's the thing. All of this is a learning process. You will have clients and customers who are like, you started 17 seconds late. I cannot do, and you're like, okay, these are not the people for you, right? And in the past, I'd be like, I'm not going to be treated like this by someone who's not paying. But now I'm like, you can't even pay me to deal with you. There are some clients that I say no to. I'm like, no, sorry. My peace and is worth much more than that. All right. You can't put live links in the chat. All right. Anyway, it's in the chat. I know there's some of you in here, and some of you I know who have bought like every single thing I've put out, and I'm so grateful for you all. All right. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect to be submerged in a crash course on the perils of people-pleasing, relying on my intuition in do-or-die situations, learning to stand up for myself, finally, and figuring out what I actually want for a change. Maurice, I'm going to throw something at you. I definitely am. She's going to the closet, and because the closet is closed, she's crying. She hates if doors are closed, closets are closed. She wants to have access to every single thing at all hours of the day and night, all the time. Do you know how, like, your parents say, I hope you get a kid just like you? I got a cat, just like me. The risks were great. Deportation, Mexican jail, getting kidnapped, assaulted. And by the way, I had to write Mexican jail because, like, Mexican jail is not like jail in Canada. Okay. I remember reading stories about it and I was just, my jaw was dropping, where it was like the jailers will like mock you and laugh if you're like crying, or they're like like, give me some money, maybe I'll help you, they make fun of you and stuff, and you don't get food and water regularly of any quality, like you can die there apparently. I don't know if it's true, and I don't want to find out. And if I ain't writing a book about that. Okay. Um, Ripped off or worse, but the benefits are some of the greatest intangible rewards I've ever received in this life. I've gained back my self-trust and respect, sense of worth, belonging, and dignity, and discovered a whole new way of enjoying a quality of life that I've never known before, all while effortlessly shedding 35 pounds. Is this a journey I'd recommend for everyone? Initially, it was. I couldn't imagine why everyone wasn't moving here for cheap rent, smiling locals, and fresh daily sunshine and mangoes. Soon I would come to know that Mexico is not for the weak, unlucky, or unresourceful. At the beginning, I was a chubby, emotionally weary former housewife, crammed into a plane filled with masked people speaking a language I did not understand. The plane took off from U.S. soil to the sound of multiple babies crying, heading through the night straight toward Guadalajara. One could have assumed the worst. However, I was no ordinary, chubby, scared former farm housewife. I was Adelle Ramcharan, great daughter of Nathaniel Ramcharan, the pharmacist turned pirate when times called for it. He helped people cross the Indian Sea to escape indentured servitude, and a relative who found my videos online once wrote to tell me I was his spitting image. Adelle, the 4-year-old who drowned, revived and became an expert swimmer. The kid who stood up to teachers and principals over unfair rules in grade school, the woman who went from shoveling snow to earning 6 figures in passive income online, who once jumped out of helicopters for a living, all while highly traumatized and suffering multiple autoimmune illnesses. Good Lord. Good Lord. I went straight and sought out martial arts classes almost as soon as the plane wheels touched this new fertile soil. I had forgotten who I was. This journey was about to remind me. This journey was about to remind me. So that is a reading from my newest book, At Midnight in Mexico. It's in the chat. You can use code 2024 for the next 48 hours to save 20% on any of my digital books or audiobooks for my end of year sale. And the link is in the description as well. Enjoy. I'm going to head to the comments. Any questions you want me to answer, please let me know. And I set up this really cute scene where I can play you a chapter from my audiobook as well. So that will be a treat. You get to listen to my audiobook, I Thought I Was White. Free yourself from racial stereotypes and live well while the haters stay mad. And if you want to grab that, you can use code 2024 for the next 48 hours and save 20% as well.
I Thought I Was White. How to free yourself from race and live well while the haters stay mad. Copyright 2022, Adelle Ramcharan. All rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, email, or other electronic or mechanical methods without the prior written permission of the publisher, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical reviews and certain other non-commercial uses permitted by copyright law. Neither the author nor the publisher assumes any responsibility or liability whatsoever on behalf of the consumer or reader of this material. Any perceived slight of any individual or organization is purely unintentional. This book is a memoir. It reflects the author's present recollections of experiences over time. All names, dates, times, locations, and identifying characteristics have been changed. Some events have been compressed, and some dialogue has been recreated. Chapter 1. The exact moment I realized I wasn't white. The moment I realized I wasn't white happened, of course, in a public school classroom around the age of 8. Prior to this day, my friends and I organized ourselves by two things: proximity and age. You wanted friends that were within walking distance of your home and about equal in physical capability. We naturally organized ourselves this way, and I cherish the memory of those times, the world before cell phones or the internet. I remember our parents had to force us to watch TV shows they heard kids would like the Power Rangers, because we always wanted to be outside. We'd play marbles, barter and trade toys, tell each other scary stories and tall tales, or frankly, just gossip, sitting in the sun and absent-mindedly pulling blades of grass. Was it a veritable paradise on Earth? Well, no, of course not. Most days it was like a cross between Stand By Me and Lord of the Flies. We were not entirely innocent either. Like all tribal visual mammals, lacking the ability to examine ourselves on a deeper level due to our age at the time, we often resorted to attacking each other based on perceived differences. I clearly remember the day when I was bickering with my friend Ricky in the schoolyard and told him he should go back to the Ukraine. He had a really expressive face, like beady eyes underneath bushy eyebrows, and he always looked like he was thinking something crazy at any moment, so that when you looked at his face before he even said anything, you'd start laughing. His eyes flashed, and he yelled, "Oh yeah? Why don't you go back to Africa?" There was a slight pause as all the kids suddenly were paying attention, and then he added, "And ride on an elephant." There was a moment of silence before we all burst out laughing. Ricky and I were friends from that day on. I liked his bravery, and also the fact that he could pop out his fake front tooth at will with the tip of his tongue. That was all it took to get playground cred in those days. So he certainly noticed our differences, but I still remember what it felt like for them to not actually mean anything. Until that fateful day, the class was getting ready to learn the all-important life lesson of square dancing to perform at the spring assembly. The teacher told the boys to get in one line and the girls to get in another. Then she uttered the words that haunted me throughout my entire public school career. "Everybody choose a partner!" Most people milled around awkwardly and paired off. I just kind of stood there until eventually all that was left was my equally awkward male counterpart, a boy from Romania named Chef, who once came to school with a vacuum cleaner tied to his leg as a Halloween costume. I swear, when I was a kid, something in the air changed when a grown-up was about to act in a way they felt ashamed about. Did anyone else notice that? Email me. Anyway, the teacher was looking at all of us strangely, and then she began to shuffle the pairs, guiding the vulnerable, weak, sweet little bodies of humans new to planet Earth by their shoulders, until the one Asian boy in the class was paired with an Asian girl. The other Asian girl was paired with a darker complected Lebanese boy. All the so-called white children were paired together, and I was standing across from Dukon, the red ant-eating schoolyard bully fresh off the boat from Africa. I remember the feeling in the air. The other kids were a bit bewildered, and we kind of had this feeling that something significant and sort of wrong had just happened. I felt indignant and ashamed to be assigned to this kid for only one obvious reason. I was the honors student who always had her hand up and stayed after class to help the teacher clean the chalkboards. I was the kid who never had homework because it was so easy I'd finish it in class. I was the kid who always got free meals at Pizza Hut every week for blowing through the book club at lightning speed. And Dukon? He was the kid who went around on the playground asking girls to mime getting ready to throw dice with one hand and then pointing at the gesture they were making and laughing. But we had a similar skin color. In the end, the segregating school teacher got her skin color matched little cowboys and cowgirls dancing adorably together on stage. I was upset about what she had done, but luckily, I spent my formative years prior to that in a multicultural group where race was not a factor. When people look at me and hear me speak, they assume several things. Some of those things are true. Yes, I was raised around mostly white people. The occasional TV shows I watched in my formative years, the music that I listened to, the hero and heroine in my favorite movies, the books that I read, they were white people created by other white people. And as happens in a society where one race is the majority of the population, white people became the default in the mind of myself and others. They did not need a signifier. They just were. You would never say, oh, there was a white cowboy, but you would say that there was a black cowboy, for example. White people were the default person, and that's how I thought of them. And because I didn't think of myself racially for the first 6 years of my life, I also thought of myself this way. And even though I came to later realize that the world would not see me this way, as it goes with ideas formed very early in life, I still see myself that way to this day. I am a default human to myself. I'm not a representative of any group other than who I am, and who I am is unique. I expect other people see this on me as well. It intrigues them and leads them to write comments such as, "Are you a white woman with a very deep tan?" Despite my almond-shaped eyes, obviously non-European nose, and straight but still textured hair. I don't act like their idea of a white person. I don't act like their idea of a black person. I don't act like a black person trying to act like a white person. I am a whole other thing entirely, and it drives them mad.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening. Catch you later. I gotta go see Maurice. Thank you. And here's to even more time to actualize our Dharma in this life. What a precious day. What a precious gift. Take care. Hasta luego. Bye, Miriam. See you all.